Enough is enough. Jama needs to go. The violence needs to stop. The effects of the slogan that marked the end of 22 years of dictatorship in the Gambia. We will be looking at to what extent the UK High Commission, the European delegation, the Youth Empowerment Programme, and the International Organization for Migration are influencing Gambian policies. Due to time restrictions and relevance, we will be focusing on these four institutions. First off, I will begin with the British High Commission. The Gambia will never be a member of any neo-colonial institution and will never be a party to any institution that represents an extension of colonialism. Former President Jammeh suddenly announced that the Gambia was leaving the Commonwealth in October 2013. At the time, the relations between London and Banjul were deteriorating, with the Gambian government resenting external criticism of its very bad human rights record. A radical change occurred when Adama Barrow was inaugurated as president following elections 2016. The Gambia rejoined the Commonwealth. Ms. Sharon, the British High Commissioner to the Gambia, has said that the bilateral ties between the two countries have a bright future, with new opportunities, especially for the youth, as my colleague Kato will illustrate later in details. The Gambians are given access again to the Commonwealth Scholarships Program, linked up with Commonwealth Justices Association to organize training programs. However, a country cannot invest in its young people until it maintains its security. London provides the Gambia with needed training and support to reform the new Gambia. Modern democracy with no place for extrajudicial violence, the UK is influencing the Gambia in different layers of security sector reform. By helping the fleeting democracy set a new strategic vision for what the role of its security operators is. It is for protecting the people and the country, not individuals, as the British High Commissioner believes. The international community should help Barrow's government and develop these plans. They need to communicate with the public about what has been done and what should be done. The European Union, for instance, has a huge influence of the Gambia's policies. Do you agree, Samuel?
Thank you, Israel. During the Jammeh period, the relations between Gambia and the EU were up and down. EU was for a long period of time the biggest contributors to the Gambia, but in 2014 all aid was frozen. This happened due to the Gambia outlawing homosexuality. It can be said that the EU are more likely to sponsor the Gambian expenses based on how much they agree with them. If a policy is in accordance with the norms and values of the EU, they will sponsor it. But neglecting the EU's values causes a retraction of funding and causes backlash from the Jammeh administration. Jammeh did expel the EU top diplomat in 2014 with little to no explanation as to why. The relations between the current Barrow administration and the EU have improved, as there is a new diplomatic cooperation on all levels. The EU was the biggest supporter of the 2016 elections and have pledged to grant the new administration €75 million and announcing a second package of €150 million in the midterm. This shows that the regime change in the Gambia is supported by the EU member states, and they are willing to give incentives to the Gambia as long as it fits the Cotonou Agreement. The Gambia National Development Plan, formulated by the Gambia, is a project the EU supports, granting funds to 5 major areas: sustainable growth and job creation, agriculture and food security, governance and security, renewable energy and climate change, transport and infrastructure. Thus, it can be said that although the EU is a major benefactor for the Gambia, it does only sponsor programs that align with the values and goals the EU has for the region, and if policies that the EU is opposed to are enacted, it can redraw funding. Farah will now look at issues faced by the IOM.
With only about a population of 2 million, Gambia is considered as one of the ECOWAS countries with the highest number of migrants per capita. According to the IOM, in 2016 and 2017, the Gambia had reached up to the 5th highest number of arrivals to Europe, specifically Italy. Between January 2017 and October 2018, more than 3,700 Gambian returnees have been assisted by the IOM through their extensive programs and collaborations with the governments of the Gambia and national and local partners. The IOM has also managed to effectively rescue returnees from the detention centers and gave them hope that things may be now different than they were in the age of Jammeh, who was accused for ordering 15 migrants' deaths in 2005. However, the IOM has been working closely with the government of the Gambia, particularly the Ministry of Interior, which has the mandate to lead on immigration, governance, and management in the country. For instance, the IOM has launched a program called EU-IOM Joint Initiative for Migrant Protection and Reintegration in the Gambia, which aims to strengthening the governance of migrants and the sustainable reintegration of returning migrants in the Gambia. Ambassador Attila Lajos, head of the EU delegation to the Gambia, said that the EU-IOM Joint Initiative for Migrant Protection and Reintegration in the Gambia serves as a threefold purpose, offering voluntary returning assistance to those who want and providing reintegration support to returning Gambian migrants and their communities. In fact, the government of the Gambia had successfully managed to issue their very first national migration policy with the assistance of the IOM, who seems to be working as a tool for the government in collecting data, doing the research on behalf of the government, as well as the analysis to inform policy making. Now, Kato will tell us more about the YEP Youth Empowerment Program.
Thank you, Farah, because the question can be raised of how the Gambian government can implement a new policy to stimulate the economy. By stimulating the economy, the Gambian youth do not consider it as necessary to migrate to another country. During the dictatorship of Jammeh, there were no policy for the economy. Because of that, the economy stagnated for around 22 years. Because of that, there were no external organizations who were concerned of the stimulation of the Gambian economy. Now, after 3 years, the Gambia is a democracy, and external organizations and the Gambian government are trying to stimulate the economy and therefore to prevent migration flow to other countries. One of the policy at the moment of the Gambian government is to stimulate youth empowerment and the stimulation of businesses for young entrepreneurs. One of the organizations that we visited during our trip to the Gambia was the Gambian Youth Empowerment Project. They are trying to give job opportunities, and because of that, it would have a positive effect on the economy. However, during our visit, the Youth Empowerment Project mentioned that entrepreneurship is not necessarily a choice of the people of the Gambia. The reason for that is that not many options are available to make a well-considered decision, since there are no other job opportunities provided by organizations or the government. That's why we are a bit skeptical about this project. Indeed, the youth empowerment stimulates entrepreneurship, but the Gambian government or the youth empowerment can also provide other opportunities, for example, permanent jobs. An example can be found in the cashew nut production of the Gambia. The Gambia exports raw materials to Vietnam, and in Vietnam they make products from it. But in our opinion, there's also an option of processing these raw materials in the Gambia, and this would also have a positive effect on the opportunities of the people in the Gambia, and has a positive effect on the economy as well. Therefore, it will be in line with the policy of the Gambia. In our opinion, it's apparent that the Gambian policy are being influenced by external institutions. However, the nature of such influence is questionable, as some might have a hidden motivation of helping the Gambia. In conclusion, in our opinion, it's apparent that the Gambian policy are being influenced by external organizations, However, the nature of such influence is questionable, as some might have a hidden motivation for helping the Gambia.